I mean, creatively for me, I just need to get it out of my head, get it out of and however it lives, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like if it lives and like nobody cared, nobody liked it, nothing happened, doesn't even matter. Totally still thrilled to get it out of my head.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Inside Hilton's Head, where, sometimes I go on field trips. And today I'm in the lovely, beautiful city of Sewickley, Pennsylvania. And I'm here joined by the amazing Leanne Ford. Now, I'm not done introing you yet, Leanne, so just hold on tight because listeners, viewers, you might not know this, but Leanne is an interior designer whose style is undeniably inspiring because I know that I am very inspired by you. It is also uniquely hers. If you try to put in some sort of AI, punch in Leanne Ford
Don't
style.
tell them to do that. That's my trick.
What I hear from her is that it'll generate something pretty close.
Right, I never have to design again.
Pretty close. She's a mother, wife, daughter, and sister. She had a wonderful show on HGTV with her brother called Restored by the Fords. Leanne has one of the most vibiest collections with Crate and Barrel and a new collection with Semihandmade. She has written books.
I have.
You have written books. Yeah. You have written books.
Nobody's read them, but I've written them.
And she has her magazine, Feel Free, which is out there for all of you to grab a copy of. She's an all-around rock star.
Thank you.
Lady,
and you are in
that.
Feel Free.
I am not finished yet. I am in Feel Free. We'll get to that. This is all about you.
Yes.
And I'm so happy to call her my friend and also so honored, so very honored to have you, Leanne, on the podcast today. Thank you so much.
I'm honored to have you at my house. Thank you for coming.
It's such a beautiful house.
In my backyard.
We're in your lovely backyard covered by this wonderful wisteria. I'm just so excited by the fact that I get to be here again in your home.
Yeah, we've hung out
we have hung
times
out
here.
Yes, your home is welcoming, but you yourself very welcoming.
Thank you for saying that.
You have a lot going on in your life. Mm-hmm. If you haven't listened to my podcast, you wouldn't be aware of this question. You wouldn't be aware probably that this podcast isn't about plants.
That's good.
I rarely talk about plants.
Because you know how I feel about plants.
I do know how you feel about plants, but let's not tell anyone exactly how you feel. Actually, you know what? Tell them really quick. How do you feel about plants, Leanne?
Well, I like dead ones.
Because you can create them quickly.
Yeah, I can make them immediately. I actually have, I feel, the only time I've ever felt, what's it called? Imposter syndrome is talking to you. Because legitimately, I'm horrific at plants. But I have the Lazy Lee Guide to Gardening, which is anything that grows without me touching it is welcome.
I love that. And look, this is a judgment-free zone. I mean, actually, this is your house. I don't know is this a judgment-free zone? Judgment-free. I think that anyone who can at least tend or nurture outdoor plants as well. Or if you're at least giving them a space to maybe even just grow themselves.
Yeah,
right?
thank you.
I think
do it yourself.
That's something to be proud of.
Get out there and do it yourself, kid.
Do it yourself. You are doing a lot yourself.
Yes.
You have a wonderful team, obviously, with you.
Yeah.
But
I have one person.
One person with you. They are great.
Noelle.
I know who
She's
it is.
looking at us right now.
She's wonderful. Yeah. But there's so much going on in your world, and I brought up the fact that I've interviewed many people, and this podcast is called Inside My Head because I want to talk to individuals about things that I think about a lot.
Love it.
And the one thing I continuously talk about, and I start my podcast with because I struggle with it, with my workload and my family life, is sleep. How well do you sleep?
Wow, Hilton. Way to start making me cry early.
Cry early?
Well, since I had a 5-year-old, it's less and less. I'm a sleeper. 8 hours is my minimum.
Okay.
I believe in sleep. It helps you be more creative. It helps everything feel better. Like you stub your toe, it hurts less.
Yeah.
This is big because we sleep a lot in our house, except when my daughter wakes us up. But I sleep a lot and I sleep well.
You see, well, what are the things that you kind of do to set yourself up for that sort of success?
Wow. Okay. I take L-theanine and
What is that? I'm sorry. You got
sponsored by. I actually don't know what I take, which is actually weirder. But I take all these vitamins that help you sleep.
Okay.
And I keep my phone in the other room. I don't bring it in my room, my bedroom.
Okay.
And I sleep with the door open because we have a balcony.
Nice.
I probably shouldn't tell that. That's like.
Well, no one knows where you live, for one.
You just told them Sewickley, Pennsylvania.
I think that is just on Google. If I Googled you right now, I would know exactly where you live. Mail. You did a TV show, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Plenty of people know.
I know. No, I like windows open. I like 3 duvets. I like
3 duvets.
I like many pillows.
Talk to me about 3 duvets. Now, in my home, if there were 3 duvets, that would mean there were 3 people in my bed.
Yeah, I am 3 duvets on top of me. I travel with them.
Okay.
And you can make the Motel 8 comfortable if you bring your own duvet.
Okay.
So if you're going on a road trip.
Bring my own duvet.
Yeah. Yeah, these are my scrappy tips.
All right.
And
my wife and I.
Make sure you wash it really well later.
You got to wash your duvets. That's something that I'm a big advocate of, is a clean bedding. There's nothing like getting into
this really is about random stuff.
This isn't random. These are things I really think about all the time.
Okay, love it.
Sleep to me is one of the things that I never thought it was important.
Do you sleep well?
No.
I'm going to give you my recipe.
Please give me your recipe. I want it now. Actually, this is why I have the podcast. Not just so that I can benefit, so that our viewers, our listeners can also benefit.
My husband gave me the recipe. It's like 3 different little something that I think Peter Attia is the person.
Okay.
And I could absolutely be making that up, but he likes to research. He talks about sleep all the time. I feel like he should be sitting here with you.
Bring him on.
And he wears that ring, the sleep ring.
Okay.
And I absolutely can't stand it.
I don't even know what that is.
There's a ring that can mark your sleep. It like tracks your sleep.
Well, that's why I have this watch to track my sleep.
Yeah, and he wears a ring, and it's so not good looking to me, and I feel like people think I gave it to him as our wedding ring, and so sometimes when he's nice to me, he doesn't wear that ring. But he is all about sleeping. We talk about it all the time.
See? And this is why I'm talking about it right now. Because it is something, look, my wife, and I talk about this all the time on the podcast, I bring this up, but my wife is just like you. She's a big advocate of sleep. She protects her sleep. Yeah. She will shut down a conversation because she's like, I got to go to bed.
That's right.
And I need that time. I need to be restored. I need that battery to fully charge itself. Mm-hmm. I was someone who always believed, do you know the poet Nas?
I love Nas.
Okay. He once said that sleep is the cousin of death.
I did in college. Right?
Of course you love Nas in college. We're around the same age. I believe.
42 years old.
Okay,
I love Nas in college.
Put your age out there. Okay.
Well, it's also Googleable.
Got it. So yeah, we all love Nas, and he says sleep is a cousin of death, and I believe that to be true. And I believe that.
You know what? I'm going to take you up a notch, and I think sleep represents dying and coming back. Like, I think sleep is an example on Earth of how we die and come back after we die.
Really?
Well, don't come back to Earth. I think we're eternal.
Okay.
And I think every day we do die.
And we resurrect ourselves.
We come up. We wake up. And it's a great example of not to be scared of it because we do it every day.
I'm not scared of death. You're going to try to make me cry on this podcast. My own podcast. How dare you, Leanne?
Love it. Keep going.
I'm not scared of death, but I am, I'm fearful that I don't have enough time. Time to spend with those I love and time to spend with the things I love to do.
Well, that's actually means you're enjoying life, which is pretty awesome.
I love life. I love this moment itself.
Yeah.
Is my favorite. Someone asked, Noel asked before we started this, what's my favorite thing that I'm doing right now? And I'm like, this podcast, this episode right now is my favorite episode.
Yeah, I'll be your favorite for a couple minutes.
Because I'm spending it now with you.
Yeah.
Right? But to me, like sleep, in my sleep, like when I would sleep, I always thought when I'm sleeping, I am allowing myself to then give someone else the advantage.
Oh my gosh. All right.
But that was before. I don't want you to
that's too driven. You need to relax.
That's where I am now.
And nobody, Hilton, is you. Nobody. You're not giving anybody the advantage. There's no Hilton Carter. And you can say that about every human being, but
Sure.
like you are an exception even above that. So there's nobody. Good luck, people. Come try to be Hilton Carter.
Leanne, this is about me celebrating who you are.
I'm
but thank
celebrating you
I know
as
you
my
are.
celebration. Okay.
Okay, I'll take it.
But I truly think that I'm like you're and rest is such an important part of recharging. And I even take like long breaks. I'm not working this summer while my daughter is off of school. And my husband and I are gonna like spend, more quality time. Like I'm not taking on new projects. I'm trying to get everything to a good spot. And so I can be. And inevitably, that always, I've done it before, always turns out on the other end, I'm more prolific. I have more ready to give than ever.
Yeah.
So these breaks, there's a guy on a TED Talk, every 7 years, he shuts his company down. Takes a year off.
A year off. Wow. Okay.
Off. Did I say off? It takes a year off.
Do you remember his name?
No, but if you Google guy who takes a year off, there's only be one.
There's only one guy who can afford to do this.
That's right. He shuts it down. And he said it always pays itself back. He said when they come that next year, inevitably that year was paid for by the output that they've created just from having rest.
Look, to me now, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But it took maturing, making a living that worked for me, having a partner that believes in the process of sleeping and getting rest to understand this.
Yeah.
Right. But I am now in that journey. So I bring it up to other creatives because I want to understand is, like you said, maybe there's a recipe that you have that I can learn from and maybe the listeners here can learn from as well. Because
I'm going to find out. I'm going to tell you and you can like put it at the bottom.
Sure, we'll put it in the notes.
It really is, it really has helped me sleep really well. And I take a hot bath every night before bed.
Okay, these are things that I typically don't do. I don't take baths. I can't fit in a typical bath. But I just don't. I'm learning to do things. I was telling my friend Ryan here that there are certain things that I'm starting to do to be better.
Like what?
Not drinking coffee.
Oh, yeah.
Past 3 p.m.
And don't drink alcohol. I know.
Yeah, I'll try. But yes.
I know.
If I want quality sleep, so I've been trying to test things out, right? So I always tell people when it comes to plants, we're going to get into plants on this podcast today. I'm looking into my camera. I always say, look, if you want to set yourself up for success when it comes to caring for plants, there are ways to create like a checklist for yourself of the things that you've done to that plant so that if you see something happening that's occurring, you can go, well, I did that. I'll check that off. So it can't be this thing. I couldn't have overwatered it because I didn't water it.
So you are the plant in this analogy.
I'm the plant in this analogy. Yeah. So I'm like, is it too much alcohol before bed? Or eating too late before bed?
The answer is yes. This is the only thing I love more than wine is sleeping. So if you're going to mess with my sleep wine, something's got to give.
So you're going to drink wine earlier in the day.
That's right.
We
got to do it the French way. Have rosé at lunch.
I like that.
We don't have to say no to it. We just have to know that we need your body, if you wake up at 3 a.m., I would wake up at 3 a.m. on the dot if I drink.
Yeah.
No matter what or how much, it didn't even matter. So now it's just okay, that's the exception.
Got it.
Because, in your college years, that's the rule.
Of course.
But when Tupac Chuck was brought into America. When Tupac Chuck made it to
Cali.
When Tupac Chuck made it to Trader Joe's aisles, we started drinking more wine than water.
I think everyone did.
It was cheaper.
Yeah.
And we were so fancy. We thought we were had a fancy, we're having a wine with dinner.
Yeah, we did. Well, I was living out in California when that became a big thing. And
where were you?
I was at that point in time, I was probably living in Burbank.
I was in Long Beach at that time.
Oh, look at us. All right.
We would have been friends,
too. We would have been friends. You're much younger than me, but yeah, we would have been friends.
How old are you?
I don't give my age out on the podcast. No one knows my age.
I'm just going to Google it.
I'm 44.
Oh, I'm much younger than you. We were in high school at the same time.
We were in high school at the same time.
Listened to Nas
but I went to an art high school.
Whoa.
Went to art high school, Carver Center for Art and Technology, born in Baltimore.
Whoa.
Were you born in Sewickley?
No, I was born in Pittsburgh, and I grew up on the other side of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
But I have family in Baltimore.
You have family in Baltimore, but you told me, and you didn't have to tell me this because I know this from viewing you from a distance, then coming into your home and seeing your space, that you're a lover of art. In high school, were you a lover of art then?
Yeah, I always took every art class possible. I remember by senior year, as in with my guidance counselors, like, all right, so what else can I take? What other elective can I take? She's like, you've done them all. There's nothing else for you to do here. It's like, that's impossible. We have to find one. And I end up doing campus news, like the TV announcement.
Did I see a photo of you from high school?
Did you watch my video doing the Michael Jackson?
Maybe that's what it was.
You would really appreciate it. Yeah, so I just found all things creative in any form. I have figured out how to get out of math since freshman year of high school. I have not taken a math class since freshman year of high school. And I was always like, teachers, like the calculator's been invented. I'm like, we're good.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm probably horrible at, all of that stuff still. But I always was inspired by creating in all forms.
Okay.
So that's still happening now. That's what, it's like I'm right now I'm an interior designer. That is my box that what I would check. But I think that will change as time goes on.
As it should.
And it has changed. I was in fashion for
wait,
15 years.
Whoa, slow down.
Okay,
this is a podcast.
These are all the. So what do we do?
This is a podcast.
What are we doing on a podcast?
We're gonna slowly walk together.
Oh.
Through your yard.
Yeah.
Through your garden, and then get to your home. How about that? So
that would be very Barbara Walters for us to actually have some video walking through the yard. We should do that.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So you're in high school. You're touching. You're putting your toe in all of the arts. Paint
anything
buckets and
creative.
Things, anything creative. You're loving
Bring it. Yeah.
So I know, and people who have probably heard you on a podcast or have or who might be familiar with you know that you were in fashion. Now, were you a fashion writer or were you a fashion designer?
Neither. But I was a stylist and creative director. So I would do, vision for shoots and hire the team and find the right models and find the right photographers. And
this is in college?
This is what I did after college. So
I
went to college at Ohio University and I made up my own major. I designed my own major.
Nah, you designed a major.
Yes. I found this little blurb. Ohio University was the best school. I had so much fun there. It was like very hippie. Okay. Everybody was chill. It was just a tiny little college town.
Did you say Ohio?
Oh. Ohio.
Ohio.
Not as cool as you thought.
I was like, what made more sense to me? You're like, I went to college in Ohio. I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Okay.
Ohio is like Ohio, but not.
But not. Definitely not.
Okay, so Ohio University, and it was like a little town fully run by kids. There was no children, there was no adults. It was just a college town, and we had just had such a blast. So I found this little blurb that was like, design your own major. So you find a curriculum lady, in my case, and her name was Star. You find somebody to I presented the curriculum to them. I said, this is what I want to do after college. Yeah. And these are the classes I think I need to learn to make that. So I took all advertising, PR, art classes, and no econ, no accounting.
But you knew that that's where you wanted to position yourself after school.
Yeah, and I named it.
What was it?
Integrated Retail Communications.
Look at you.
I know.
Look at you.
Branding, even then.
I love that.
So good. And so it was like, I moved off. I did a big internship, was a whole quarter. And I did where I spent a whole quarter making my own clothing line and then marketing in it and designing it and shooting it.
What was it called?
A website, which was literally, websites were just invented.
What was your clothing line called?
Mess and Mod.
Mess and Mod.
Messed with and modified clothing.
Ooh.
I know. So good.
I'm going to skip ahead really quick for a second. Would you bring that back?
Yes. Mess and Mod.
Mess and Mod is nice.
I know. I still have the tag. I wrote it. I scribbled it and then I screen printed it. Like it was legit and everything was like spray painted. This was the era of...
You're about to touch music. I can tell.
Yeah.
I knew you were about to touch music. Tell me, who is this? What are we talking here?
This was like
Pearl Jam?
NSYNC.
NSYNC.
Britney.
Yeah.
Not that I listened to these people. I was listening to like Ryan Adams and like Josh Ritter and like all the singer-songwriters. But like the pop culture, everything was like, I was probably wearing these exact glasses. Like everything was like flashy a little bit, but I would
course.
spray paint everything. I would cut everything. I would tie it up. It was like Paris Hilton.
Got it.
And I worked for this company called Heatherette, which honestly are probably the reason that we all wore these weird clothes. They were like, it was like you could put a bag and spray paint it and tie a bow, and that was a dress, which I love. Still doing it.
Some of my friends might know me from many appearances at parties or music videos that I would make of my own music, of me wearing trash bags sometimes. Head, whole cut in sleeves. You know what I mean? You know, it was a look.
Would have been friends.
I vibed out in high school and college.
You're like, I was sweating so bad in this trash bag right now.
But
vibes.
I look so good.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I
paid my friend Katie Mishler $20 to wear a vinyl tablecloth out one night in college, and it had ants on it, like a picnic tablecloth.
She really needed that 20, huh?
She did. It was a ton of money back then. And she wore it, and she put a belt on it. She wore heels. She had her purse, and she never got so many boys flirting with her as the day she wore the picnic tablecloth.
Mess and mod right there.
I know.
I love that. Now, fashion styling.
Yeah.
So you graduated, now you're in fashion styling. What was the first thing that you did that was more, I guess, in an entrepreneurial spirit? Like, you remember the first?
Oh, yeah, of course.
What was that? What were you selling?
It was a service, Hilton.
Tell me what the service was.
So we were raising money to go with the band to Disney World. And to raise money, you could pay... we were going around the neighborhood, and for $5, I would spray paint your number, like spray paint your address on the curb. Well, once we raised all our money, I kept going.
Oh.
And I would go crank in 50, 60, 70 bucks, and I'd be like, a freshman, and I would just go crank out, and I just kept going.
Same font, different fonts?
Oh, no, I just
block?
kept going. Same font. Like, there was no...
Stencil? Okay. Smart. Quick.
I know.
Boom. Done.
I mean, it was like you'd make $5 in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And I did that. And then...
So you said freshman year?
Yeah, that
of
was
high
like
school college?
Of high school.
Look at you. Okay.
Yeah, I always was like kind of doing stuff. Yeah.
Doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Me, first time, I don't know if I talk about this ever on this podcast. I know Ryan probably doesn't know this. Middle school.
How Ryan, by the way, is like he has no face, but you probably talk about him at every podcast.
People have seen him before, but I do talk about him. He's there. He's my good friend. He's also my content producer. That's why I love this.
You need to have
That's why
Ryan
I love life.
here for your finale.
We're gonna do an episode together.
Everybody will be ready to meet the legend.
We'll do an episode.
Ryan.
I put him in one of the plant rants where he got to do his own rant.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Ryan, your time will come.
Your time will come, brother. Your time will come.
Wait, so what is your first job?
So in middle school, well, I used to do many different things, but the one that I would think was the most in line with what I love to do was in middle school. I would do drawings for anyone who wanted it for money, and a lot of girls would ask me to draw Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. But back then, we were kids. Yeah. It was like the badass versions of these characters. Like there were these. Do you remember those?
Like in a motorcycle jacket.
Remember when Crisscross first came out, and there were these Looney Tunes shirts where they were like all wearing like baggy pants and like Crisscross.
And during the Mrs. Doubtfire era.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Deep cut.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe we would have been friends in college. I'm not sure about middle school.
No, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Mrs. Doubtfire. Who's that?
The best movie ever with Robin Williams. Have you not seen Mrs. Doubtfire?
I've seen Big Mama's House.
Fruiting.
You seen Big Mama's House?
No.
See, but this is where the line is drawn.
There is a movie that was filmed here in Sewickley that Sinbad was in.
Shazam?
That era.
No, that was Shaq. What's the one? Sinbad, was it? Hold up. Which one was the one?
My friend, she's like obsessed with the fact that I live here because she loved that movie so much. My friend Deborah.
But I don't know what that is. But I would draw these Mickey Mouse characters for money in school, and then people asked me to start drawing like different characters or bands and things like that, and I loved it.
I didn't know you were an artist.
Yeah, you did not know this about me. Well, this is why you should get into my head. I went to an art high school.
I know.
Where I studied painting and drawing. Left there and went to an art college. Went to Maryland Institute College of Art.
Do you feel like after an art college you liked doing art more or less?
I loved doing art.
You always loved
more,
it.
Yes. More or less. I can't live without doing art.
Whoa.
I think that's the reason why I would spend so much time awake versus sleeping.
You just have a lot to do.
There's a lot I want to do. It's not a lot to do. There's a lot I want to do. I would like some days I don't want to do anything. And guess what I do?
Nothing.
I do nothing.
Yeah.
But I want to create.
Yeah.
I had an artist on the podcast. Her name's Faye Ray. And we went back and forth about the idea of quality versus quantity.
Okay.
She believes
in
quantity over
that's
quality.
I assumed that you were saying that.
And I was like,
I agree with her.
but then I pushed back and I said, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
I agree with you too. That's
especially when you're talking about just putting out things that maybe you don't fully believe in.
Well,
like, she's like, I just want to create.
She wants to keep going.
I want to keep going.
Get it out.
Get it out.
I mean, creatively for me, I just need to get it out of my head, get it out of and however it lives, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like if it lives and like nobody cared, nobody liked it, nothing happened, doesn't even matter. Totally still thrilled to get it out of my head.
And we'll be right back after a break from our sponsor. Balancing work and life can be really stressful, and finding ways to work through the stress is always a goal of mine. Of course, the process of nurturing plants helps me to slow down, take a breath, and bring in joy. But unfortunately, my plants aren't licensed therapists with expert advice. Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or you're just a human who lives in this world who is going through a hard time, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. There's a link in my description. It's betterhelp.com/Hilton. Clicking this link helps to support this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't really fit with that therapist, which is a common thing with therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without stressing about insurance, who's in your network, or anything like that. Starting this podcast was supposed to be a little extra therapy for me, getting the ideas in my head out. Good to know I can always use BetterHelp just in case Molly can't help me. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Hilton. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this channel. Now, back to the show. So many people transition in life. You spoke about this earlier. You're saying that right now you're an interior designer. Hopefully in the future, maybe that won't be the name tag you give for yourself. I know when people start asking me what I was, I went from being, I would always start with artists.
Which you still should.
And I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
But you found your way out of school as a fashion stylist, and then you transitioned that to interior designer. You had to make that decision.
Okay, so that's funny because, funny you should say that, Hilton.
Okay.
Carter. So I was in fashion for 15 years, but finally when I was able to, could buy our first house, I was able to like rip out walls, do, change things, get wild, rip out ceiling. And that people started calling me. That first house was in Country Living magazine, which was the best magazine back then. I loved it. And people started calling me to help them, but I wasn't an interior designer in any form. Well, I called my friend. I always talk about Danny Mazzarini. I called him. He's an incredible interior designer in New York. I'm like, how do I be an interior designer? He's like, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay, got it. Yes, I'll do your project. And that's how I started doing interior design because I was freelance.
Okay.
And I would just say yes to everything. In freelance world, like you don't know if the job you just did is going to have to last 2 days or 2 months.
Yeah.
You know, so you just say yes. So when people started, like the foray into this other career was just fully out of necessity of being a freelancer. You know, I just was like, this is fun for me. It's easy. I didn't know how to translate the ideas. So in my head, I didn't need help thinking about what to do to a space. I needed help with the business of it. How do you translate your ideas to clients? How do you charge? How do you da-da-da-da-da-da?
Yeah, but what you haven't explained to me, which I would love for the audience to hear, is where was all of that creativity sitting while you were in fashion?
You know, I think it's the same brain. So, well, it is
so
the same brain. But I
you're
think
saying there's
it's the same
similarities
line.
in
It's
fashion?
It's context. It's, you know, how high and low. It's how you put things together. It's like, you know, you can have how do you make a t-shirt look interesting in a photo? Like it's all these other things. How do you make a chair cool? It's all these other things. It's like, it's all about kind of the dimension between. It's just the same side of my brain doing that. Yeah. Well, I did both for probably 5 years. And I remember I was like out on a beach in some foreign country on a shoot trying to convince.
That's a flex, y'all.
Yeah. And that foreign country was Ohio. And I was like on the beach trying to convince this client to get this sofa or something. And my brain was so like, you know, and I remember I was like, I've got to pick one. I need to pick one. And finally, when I met my husband, Eric, he was, you know, I wasn't saying I was an interior designer at all. And one day he was like, when are you going to tell people you're an interior designer? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm not. He's like, you design interiors. You're an interior designer. And I always tell people that when people are, like, so many people give me the disclaimer about I'm an interior designer, but I'm not really, but I didn't go to school. I'm like, kill it with the disclaimer.
Of course.
If you design interiors, I'm sorry to tell you, you're an interior designer.
But what was the reason why the decision was needed? Was there like, you were in fashion, you were in interiors, but did you lose the passion, the love for it?
Yeah, I think my brain didn't care about clothes at that time. Like, I still like clothes. I still love clothes. But like in this weird, scrappy way that I like all these other art forms.
For sure.
You know, it's just like it's just another little fun kind of creative expression. But I just, my brain was like, look, you know, I was grabbing the home magazines instead of the fashion magazines. And I had moved on. And it was like 12 years. I remember it was about 12 years when the evolution started. And I do believe my evolution has started for the next phase.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. I got to come back to that because I don't want to transition to what you're about to tell us you're going to do, which probably...
I don't know.
You don't know.
No.
You said it's the evolution has started. So there has to be something. I'm going to ask Noelle off camera what you're starting to get into. Lotions. We did talk lotions.
Yeah, no. I you know what? I think right now it's like a lot of writing. Like I just finished my first book, which I can tell you is called The Slowdown.
You've just finished writing your first book.
Called The Slowdown.
I love that.
And it's about my home. It's about leaving Los Angeles. It's about going to the country-ish and quality of life and kind of fixing up this big old gorgeous house from 1900.
Got it.
And then I'm doing now I'm on my next book, and we do Feel Free magazine. So there's a boatload of writing, and I've really enjoyed. It's like more like the words are coming forward.
The words more than the spending the time thinking about how to make a home.
More than physical labor.
Yeah, more than physical labor.
My job, how I design, is so physical labor. It's
crazy.
So
let's start there then. How you design.
Have you ever seen the Beverly Hillbillies? That is how I design. I
saw the what's homie's name? Vern. Well, he doesn't say Vern, but Ernest goes to camp.
Yeah, Ernest is my main inspiration.
Ernest was mine too. Yeah. He was mine as a kid.
I honestly talk to Vern still. Right, Vern? What's he say?
You know what? I take it back. We would have been best friends. Actually, we would have been best friends. Yes. Okay, so not the labor part, but
That's what Ryan's like. He's like Vern because you actually never see Vern.
Ryan's my Vern.
Yeah, you're so lucky.
He's my Vern. But I actually have a co-host.
Noelle's my Vern, but she has no idea what we're saying because she's young.
She's too young. She doesn't know. She has no idea what is
Oh,
happening.
I always say, know what I mean, Vern?
Oh, and she doesn't know what she's... Do you really say that?
I say it to anyone who will... Like, that's like,
Guess what?
know what I mean, Vern?
Guess what? I would know what you mean.
Thanks,
I would know what you mean, Vern. So my question,
yes,
because I'm interested in understanding this, because I'm interested in understanding this about anyone.
Yes.
As creatives, people who are artists creating things, inspiration for me. I had the pleasure to design my own home.
Yeah.
For me, I found inspiration in designing my home through my travels. For you, when you walk, whether it's in your own home or when you're working on a project, where do you start when it comes to inspiration? Because there was a moment where I thought if I was ever going to do a thing where I was going to design a bunch of homes and someone told me there was a thing that, like a feel that they were going for, I would go, I need to go visit that place, touch that place. How do you find the inspiration?
I think it's all been packed in my whole life. So there's a ton in my head from all these references that I've just brought in, and there's moments, it's really interesting. And I'm noticing this in my creative life and my career. And I'd be interested if you feel this. There's moments where your job is just to pull in and like digest information, bring it in, and nothing's coming out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Nothing, you have nothing to say, you have nothing to create, nothing to draw. And then all of a sudden it's like, I have so much to say, so much to draw, so much to create. I'm ready. So there's like these kind of ebbs and flows of that. So in those times that, like when I'm creating, I don't need inspiration. It's already been packed in over here. And in those other times, it's just everything. Like I'm very inspired by music and albums and like old everything. But I don't, I'm very, I look towards the past most. Like,
for sure.
They say there's nothing new under the sun. And like there's things that everything's been done before, but it's evolution of that for how we need it now. Yeah. And I'd say in any form, I'm just like very inspired by fully what's already been created, but then you can't help but put your spin on it.
Of course. I love that. So I'm sticking to this so we can go back into where your evolution is going to take you. So you're in the space, you have all the inspiration that you need to create the space. You walk in, blank canvas, whether it's your own home or a client's home. Let's make it my home.
Okay.
My home. You're coming to design my home. You're going to help me make this space my home. Something that I love to sit in.
Okay. And
my family wants to be in for many years to come. I guess I'll ask that question because I think about this now. When it comes to designing the space, are you thinking of the now in the forever, or how does that work? Because sometimes when I think of an idea, I'm like, oh, I want that in my home. I'm like, I don't know if that's timeless, though. At what point am I going to get
That's a great
bored
question,
with this?
Hilton. Here's my answer. This is actually something I like to preach, if you will.
Please.
If it is attached to the wall, if it's the wall, the floor, the tile, the tub, the cabinets, I always make it really timeless and classic and simple.
What does that mean? Like what is
I always look backwards. So like if it's something that is from 100 years ago and I still think it's pretty, we're good. I'm going to like it in 100 years, right? So I tend to like stay away from I stay away from trend in general, but if there's something I like that's weird and current, it's in the furniture or the art or the lighting, because that's really easily replaceable.
For sure.
Because I never use like decorative tile. I really use like really simple classic stuff. Thank you. You mentioned my cabinet line was Semihandmade. I love that. Yes. Thank you. But it's just a beautiful, simple white oak or a beautiful, simple white. And it's like, it's not earth shattering, mind blowing. But the fact is these kind of simple blank canvas pieces, now you can put all the weird stuff, like get the weird plates, get the weird art, do the funky light. Yeah. And that's how I think, like, because construction is so painful.
Yeah, it is.
It is. I do it for a living and it's still hard on me. So I tend to try not to do that again anytime soon.
Got it. If you don't need to tear down a wall, you're not going to tear it down.
No, just like I love tearing down a wall.
You do love tearing down walls. You love
But I
the
also
exploration of
yeah,
the whole thing. Okay.
Exploratory demo. But
Okay.
I also like keeping a wall. I don't need an open floor plan.
Okay.
I like a wall too. But I would say as you make these decisions, like my two things.
Go for it.
And this is what I always tell people. It's like you don't need to reinvent the wheel every room you go into. Pick one aesthetic you like. If you like this cabinet and this counter in the kitchen, use it in every bathroom. You don't need to start over.
For sure.
Simple, simple, simple. And just because you can doesn't mean you should, is what I say about construction.
And about making art, Fay Ray.
I like that. You need to introduce us. But they in construction land, like I'll be on a call on the expert with these people, and they're like, oh, I want to, and then we could rip this out. We can move this over here, move this over here. I'm like, or you just leave it in the same layout. It's cool. It's good. Like, what are we trying to do?
Yeah.
Like, it actually looks cool that way. Keep it. What can you keep? I always walk into a space, I'm like, what can I keep? And that's how I start the design process.
Got it. I mean, that's smart. So you walk into a space, you're like, what can I keep in this space?
Yeah, what's good here? Like, what's interesting? What's cool? What's beautiful? Like, any of that version. Like, what's good? Because, yeah, we could rip everything out and make a brand new box, but then, like, just go buy a new building. Just
True.
go.
That's very true. You could buy a whole new building, but some people like the shell.
I like to respect as much as I can of an old building or space or home.
For sure. I think you and my wife were on the same page there. She's like, respect all these baseboards in this house.
100%.
And I'm like, maybe. We'll
okay,
see.
my exception to my own rule
Go for it, please.
is I do have no mercy when it comes to painting. I will paint a brick wall all day, every day. And I know people are, not the naughty pine, not the brick wall. But like, if you don't want that naughty pine or brick wall, paint it. Like,
Paint it.
paint it.
Now, speaking of paint, people who know you know this. People who don't know you, can you let all of the viewers and listeners know what's your favorite color?
I love white. I love all shades of white.
You love all shades of white paint.
All shades of like creamy white.
Creamy
Yummy.
white. All right. So I wore white. If you're not watching this episode, I'm wearing white to respect my friend
Thank
here.
you.
I know how much she loves white. You,
Yes.
Miss, inspired me.
To wear white pants?
Well, no, not that.
Oh.
You inspired me. We're renovating second and third floors of our home right now.
Whoa, with a baby and a
With a baby.
bad idea, but
Hey,
continue.
we got to do it. We got to do
man.
it. It's all going to happen before the baby.
Had we done this podcast before you guys started that, I would have advised otherwise.
It's like, hey, but it's all going to happen.
Speaking of, there's Ivory.
Ivory just walked through. Everything in your life is named after life
That
itself.
was a fluke. He came as Ivory. We kept it.
So you love white, right? I was inspired. Last time I was here to visit you, you put me in your amazing guest house. All this white, all these natural creamy whites.
Thank you for noticing.
When you see my third floor of my home,
Yes.
I said, make everything white.
Yes.
She was
easy.
like, but we're finishing the floors. I'm like, you can sand them, but then they're going to be white.
Yeah. Did you do it?
It's happening. And she went with it. She was like, yes, let's do it. Because I understood it, and I respect the fact that not only do I feel like it's a timeless look, but my wife kept going, but you're going to get so annoyed when, sorry, babe, but I have to do the voice. You're going to get so annoyed when one little smudge is on the floor.
Does she talk like that?
Well, no, but that's how it comes into my ears.
Like, I'm on your
when
side.
she said it,
Not your side.
Leanne is on your side. I get it.
I'm on wifey's side.
But no, I was like, I'm cool with a mark.
Yeah, that's
happening
right.
Before. It's
The first cut is the deepest. Okay,
Yeah.
so like the first like fine. But then give me a beat up old white floor all day long. Give me a marble with stains like, oh yeah, that was wine night.
There
That
it
was
is, exactly.
Margaritas with the friends.
and that's what I reminded her of that when we talked about our concrete counter.
yeah.
We were like, it's going to have dings or memories in it.
Yes.
And we're going to go back to that and go, remember that night where someone was standing on the table?
Yeah,
and
dancing on the counter.
Exactly.
I mean, I have to say that I say get the stain done that day. The day you install, the day you move in, Have a party.
I love
Get it over with.
Let's go for it.
Get it over with.
Let's go for it. All right. Well, I'm glad that you approved it as well. My wife has recently started listening to this podcast, so maybe she'll hear this one.
Yes.
But she knows I love her and I respect her opinion, so that's why I always ask what we should do there. Now, my question is this for you, because I was obviously inspired by your space. In the process of going through designing or renovating, or just as a creative going through any project, you're working on a project, you have the idea, you're in it. You're like, I wrote all these notes down. This is what I'm going to do. First, we're going to do this first, and then we're going to do that. You went from you had many pivots, I guess, so far in your life.
Yeah, it's all a pivot. Yeah.
Do you think it's important to open yourself up for the possibility to pivot in design?
Always. I always quote Quincy Jones, and I literally misquote him, but he says when he walks into the studio, he says he leaves 10% for the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
He's like, you walk into the studio, leave space for what comes out of that creation.
Got it.
And I do that so I never really put pen to paper kind of ever. I really design through living in the space, or I do not do any decisions until we do exploratory demo.
For sure. You got to do exploratory demo. I understand that. Exploratory demo, anyone listening, watching, listen, if you don't have the money, do not explore.
No, don't explore.
Do not explore.
But if I know, let's make decisions after we see what's under this drywall? Where's this? Da-da-da-da-da-da. In this house, we pulled out the old cabinets. There was stunning windows underneath that somebody had put covered with the cabinets. So I pivot. I changed the whole layout of the kitchen because these windows showed up. And you have to leave room and be able to evolve. I always say make plans and then judge accordingly.
I like that. I love
Make
that.
plans and then judge accordingly. It will inevitably change, and you have to stay loose. If you're trying to hang on to anything in life or construction so tight, you're going to lose your mind.
Of course. I 100% agree with what you're saying. Some of the best decisions we made on our own home are based on the fact that we saw this demo happen and we go, oh, let's definitely change what we've said we're going to do because of what we now see.
And you have to be okay. You have to prepare yourself, your spouse, your contractor. Things will change.
Yeah.
And that's where the good stuff happens. And that's when it becomes interesting. And that's why it doesn't look like a computer animated drawing.
So you never create any drawings of what you want the end result to be?
I told you I have zero technical skills anyway.
But if someone does create this for you?
I sketch with tracing paper and a pencil. I'm a very tactile. That's why I have this magazine. I want to touch. It's I'm tactile. But no, I show up to install with loads of furniture, too many tables, too many chairs, too much junk, and I put it in real time. I move it around. I do not. Another thing is I don't put lighting fixtures in till the furniture's in.
Okay.
So don't make me pick the lighting fixture the day we're getting the permits.
Yeah, I get that.
Everything, I leave that. I have them put little $1.29 porcelains in. And then I walk around with the light. Not this room, not this room, this room. And it's a really annoying process for most people involved, but it's why things feel collected instead of designed.
Well, we've said a lot here today. When it comes to interior design, I just love the fact that what you do is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, what I'm hearing is based on feeling.
Yes, always. Very much. Which is why it's hard to kind of bottle up, because it is very much a creative, emotional experience.
Yeah.
Even when I talk to, mainly my clients in quotes is through the expert where you can talk to somebody for an hour.
Yep.
But even when I talk to them, my first question is, what do you want your house to feel like? Not look like. Give me 3 adjectives of what you want it to feel like.
I think what I truly, I guess, respect about how you go about your craft and I guess that it's in line with what I do, is I like to see, when it comes to like, let's say plant styling, see a plant exist in a space and how it feels in that space and think about how that plant will develop and grow over time in that particular space, right? And then how that ties into how the family or the people in the space will interact. Because if I just sit a plant behind you here and you have to sit there and you have to smack a leaf from hitting you in the head every time you sit down, that's not enjoyable. Right?
See, I like this about you, Hilton. Like, we do the same thing, but totally different. Like, whatever you talk about plants goes right over my head. Like, no idea what you're saying. But it's the same thing. We're creating atmosphere and, like, literally, that's just your art form of the moment or art form, one of your many art forms. It's really
For sure.
I like how much you like plants.
I like how much you like me liking plants. You know what I mean? I also like how much you like design. But you know what? I feel like there's always this connection between how you're going to consider the individuals who are going to exist in the space.
Right,
I think
that's
across
right.
the board, we both have to think about those things.
That's number one, because it's, we leave, we go away, and they have to love their space. They have to live in there. It has to feel comfortable to them. And I think that's the most important thing. It's like, I like to be a ghostwriter. Like, I don't want people to like, I live in the Leanne Ford house. I want truly them to take it and make it their own, which, inevitably happens.
For sure. You've pivoted before.
Are you ending with my pivot? Like, I'm going to make a big announcement. It's like,
I don't know what your pivot is.
I'm now a
not
CPA.
I'm not ending on your pivot because your pivot may not have begun, but you mentioned earlier that this evolution has possibly begun for yourself, right? But I did hear through the Wisteria Vine, that you might have your own podcast coming at some point. Oh, come on. You're so good at this. Possibly. You don't like the labor in anything. I mean, how hard has this been for you?
Well, okay, what you have going on for you is we haven't moved during this. So that is a good day for work. That's a good day's work. I'm literally usually sweating, moving something marble or concrete. So you're right.
So it's not about the process for you.
Wait, what?
At one point you liked the moving, the sweating.
No, I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
But you're kind of over it.
Yes, I'm also over it, but I love it and I'm over it, but I love it and I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Okay, you're asking me at the tail end of my process. I just finished this house, Church Lane, literally 24 hours ago, so I'm exhausted. But if you
literally just finished.
Yes, and I'll take you over there. We'll take a picture of you, and you'll be the first celebrity visit to Church Lane. But if you ask me in 2 months, I'm like, what's my next project?
Got it.
And
this is kind of what I was talking about when it comes to like my wife having our daughter.
Yeah, you forget. Oh, you totally black out. Yeah, believe me, I believe having a child and doing construction is the same. Like, you have to black out in order to ever want to do it again. Yeah. It's hard. And then you forget, and then you get to sit in your beautiful house or hold your beautiful baby, and you're like, oh, I could do that again. You
decided at some point to put that, to write in that, hello, my name is Leanne, and I am a blah, blah, blah. You were like, I'm an interior designer.
Yes.
In the future, you're going to change it.
Yeah.
Is that a must?
Do you want to know what my dream job is?
Yes.
Dream job.
Tell everyone what your dream job is.
Because there might be somebody that watches this.
Hope
Listens
there's
to this.
someone who's watching this. I hope someone is watching. You think, actually, you know what? I hope that it's just you and I. I made you do this so that no one would ever hear it. And I'm going to watch it at home by myself.
Listen, Hilton, like, that's what I did in high school. We made a bunch of VHS tapes that nobody ever saw. So nothing's new.
I get it. Someone might watch this. And if they do, maybe they can learn from this.
Okay, my current dreamland, which is a pie in the sky.
Okay.
I think my future career.
Okay.
I'm scared to say it.
I'm
not scared to say it. I'm pausing because it's really fun to make the tension. Okay, do you want to guess? You're never gonna guess.
So we're gonna put it out. Have you put it out into the world already? Like, have you said it to the world?
Well, I've done it
You've
in
already
the past.
You've done it in the past.
Funny enough, and it is so fun and wonderful and easy for me. And I literally think it is my retirement plan.
You're gonna retire doing this?
Yes.
But, so it's not work. It doesn't. It's not.
work.
It's not labor intensive. Clear.
No. I love my pause right now. This is so fun for me because I tell everybody to do this, and now I'm doing it. Just put it out on the planet. I really want to do more songwriting.
I was going to guess that.
I really want to do more songwriting.
Hold up. When you, this is the best part of this. You said more.
Yes. And
So there is songs that you've written already
that are on the planet, and I get mailbox money for them. I'm a member of ASCAP.
Are you a ghostwriter?
No, my name is on the song.
You've written for who? Who have you written for?
I like how I saved this till the very end of your
No, this is the
battery
best.
and
No. We got battery.
Okay, I have written. So I've written a bunch of songs, and they're out on the planet. And one of the songs was on Conan O'Brien. Thank you to Escondido. It's called Cold October. One of the songs.
Sorry, no. Cold October. I love that title.
Thank you.
Did you come up with the title?
Yes.
Can you sing just a little bit of the lyrics?
No, I told you I can't sing.
That's why I'm the
songwriter.
Recite
I'm
little
Bernie.
bit? Can you recite them? Because I can recite some of the songs that I've written. Viewers, you're both
so
seeing, and listeners, you're hearing two songwriters.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Well, what are you doing tonight? Let's write some songs.
Let's write some songs together, some duets.
I'll drive you home tomorrow. I wrote a Christmas song called I Fa La 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 Love Ya.
Okay.
That my friend Nikki Lane, who's like a legitimate Americana rock and roller, put out. That sends a couple bucks.
I fa la la love ya.
How has nobody done that yet?
How's it? Can I
fa la 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 love ya.
Oh, nice.
Like, how has nobody written that song yet?
You did.
I did.
So,
and then, I mean, there's a lot. If you, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put them on a playlist and I'm going to send it to you.
If you have a SoundCloud?
Because now this is I have a Spotify playlist.
So you're gonna put together a playlist that are all the songs you've written. This
podcast just turned into me getting a job.
Has it? Someone's gonna hire you to write a song for them, possibly.
Yes.
Okay. So you want that to be your next. Your next.
I have so many words come out rhyming in my head. They just come out. I write them down. I have nothing to do with them all the time.
I love it.
And so I just want to put them somewhere. Again, put them somewhere.
Put them somewhere. Your transition could possibly be something I would have never had guessed that you would do. But I love that it's something that you can do wherever you are enjoying your life in the world.
Right. I want to be sitting on a beach, writing a dumb song. You record it, and I'll see you on the other side. Well, they could film it. Elton John had Bernie. Bernie didn't have to do. He just wrote a bunch of gorgeous songs. Yeah. And Elton had to go razzle dazzle everybody. For sure. I'm ready to be on the other side.
I like that.
So you do the podcast, like you're so good in front of the camera. I'm ready to step away from the camera.
I get it. Okay.
I know, crazy, right?
Yeah, because I thought we were gonna go off and do our thing together. I thought we were gonna do something together.
Oh yeah, the duet. That's right.
You're like, I want my own solo.
No,
actually, maybe you can write songs for me.
Yes, and I love collaborating. I don't have to write I only write words. Okay. Do you write music?
No, I don't write music.
Darn, we're competitors.
Yeah, I write words, but I perform the words, so I can perform your words.
Hilton.
Yeah.
Let's put a song out.
Perform your words.
Oh my God.
We should.
We should get it ready before this podcast comes out. And ladies and gentlemen, now premiering the first song by Hilton Carter. Words written by Leanne Ford, Interiors.
Leanne Ford, Interiors. Oh, the words written by Leanne Ford, Interiors is the best. Okay. All right.
That's my pen name.
If you guys get to hear this song,
It is your
you know
lucky
what?
day.
I'm gonna try my very best for us to make this song before this podcast comes out.
Seriously, what's
And
your genre?
And
I'll
we will
work
play it
within
at the end of this episode. My genre's all over the place. I am.
It's garbage bag style.
It's garbage bag style.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. It can be R&B. It can be rock. It can be alternative. It can be rap. It can be soul. It can be pop.
All right, let's go. Let's do soul.
All right, I got you.
Okay.
I got you covered.
I got it. I will sit in the bathtub tonight and write you a song.
Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful and talented Leanne Ford Interiors, the songwriter.
Best worst idea I ever thought of is being on this podcast.
I love that you're on. I love that you have told the world She's like, is anyone going to watch this or hear this?
Well, Hilton, you say the world. I say the 30 people, including my family, who's going to watch it. We're good.
Everyone's going to watch this, and they're going to know that your next transition is going to be into songwriting. We're going to look at all the notes and I guess on Spotify or Apple Music, whoever's putting out music, we're going to see your name. We're looking for your name to be there.
Yeah, I'm going to send you something because you have a road trip back to Baltimore. I'm going to make you guys listen to it.
Please. Well, I'm so thankful to have you with me today on
pleasure.
the podcast. Thank you for sharing. Before we go, I'd like to let those who are on the podcast talk about things that are coming up for themselves. By the time this comes out, your collection with Semihandmade will already be out. You said you have a new book that...
Yeah, The Slowdown, which is about the house we're sitting at right now, and you can pre-order it, which I hear helps us.
Pre-orders help.
You're more of a book guy.
Pre-orders help. When does it come out?
No idea.
You can pre-order
I will figure that information out.
But you can pre-order it now?
Yeah.
You can pre-order it now?
Yes.
You have a collection at Crate and Barrel.
Yes, I love Crate and Barrel.
And that is not seasonal. That is going to...
cruising right along. Lots of good stuff on there.
Wonderful
if you put
things
Leanne Ford in there. And then Feel Free Magazine and working on another book. Give me
back and Feel Free. What's going on?
Oh, we're going to start another segment?
No, I'm just saying things.
Feel Free Magazine, which Rashida Jones is on the cover right now.
I know she is.
She is so incredible.
I've never met her, but...
She's amazing and the coolest, and we had so much fun.
And you still can't get her dad's quote right?
I know.
How dare you?
I actually misquoted him to her. Which I don't think she was fine.
She was like, fine. Yeah, I don't know if my dad said that, but...
Yeah, she was amazing, but she was like just a great example of this full creative soul who,
of course,
has many outlets. I'm always interested with people who have so many outlets.
Yeah.
And I think that's the truth is like none of us, I am drawn to people who don't know which box to check.
That's awesome.
And that's you.
I didn't check the box until I was almost forced to do so. So that's right. I understand it.
Yeah. So, and there'll be many more. We'll just, instead of like erasing or picking, we'll just keep checking more.
Like my team always says, we've lived many lives and we will continue to live more. So,
and you know what they say?
What do they say?
The road goes on forever and the party never ends.
I love it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. Welcome to my house.
Thank you for being here. Not just at your house, but here.
Thank you for having me. I'm all things Hilton Carter. I'm in.
I'm all things Leanne Ford, guys.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid and the smoothies.
Do the thing that you need to do. Check the box.
All the boxes.
Whatever you're doing. But make sure you never check your box because leave yourself open to be whatever is there for you to be.
Yeah,
right?
And we don't have to pick one.
We don't have to pick one.
Let's keep going.
Let's
check in 10 years when I'm sitting in my Bermuda beach house because of this podcast.
I love that. I want that for you.
I'm putting it out into the planet.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Leanne Ford. We'll be talking to you soon. Thank you so much. Balancing work and life can be really stressful, and finding ways to work through the stress is always a goal of mine. Of course, the process of nurturing plants helps me to slow down, take a breath, and bring in joy. But unfortunately, my plants aren't licensed therapists with expert advice. Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or you're just a human who lives in this world who is going through a hard time,
therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be really hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. There's a link in my description. It's betterhelp.com/Hilton. Clicking this link helps to support this channel, but it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. And because finding a therapist is a little like dating, if you don't really fit with that therapist, which is a common thing with therapy, you can easily switch to a new therapist at no additional cost without stressing about insurance, who's in your network, or anything like that. Starting this podcast was supposed to be a little extra therapy for me, getting the ideas in my head out. Good to know I can always use BetterHelp just in case Molly can't help me. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/Hilton. Thank you again, BetterHelp, for supporting this channel.